Hi Year 5, welcome to Tuesday's English lesson. Today we're carrying on writing our instructions for a dream, and today we're going to be looking at using imperative verbs and a variety of sentence openers in your writing. Now, we looked at imperative verbs last week, and if you remember, they are bossy verbs such as gather, mix, stir. So you might want to start thinking about some that you might be able to use in your recipe for a dream today. And why do we need to use them in our instructions? Because they clearly explain what the reader needs to do. Now, last week, the imperative verbs we used were suited to our technical text all about our robots, and we used words such as fix, turn, pull, and switch, which were all appropriate for the writing that we did last week. But this week, our instructions are much more of a recipe for making a fabulous potion. So, what imperative verbs will we need? Can you think of a list of imperative verbs we could use? Hopefully, the cooks in the class will know the language of the kitchen. So, I've put a few clues down here. For example, you might think of mix, or pour, or blend, stir, add, spoon, dollop something in. So, have a little think. What else can you come up with? Stop the video, get a piece of paper, and jot down as many words as you can. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. Here's a big list that Mrs. Roberts and Miss Bridges and I brainstormed the other night. So this is our word bank of imperative verbs. Did you get all of these? Maybe you've got some better ones that you can share with us when we do our Zoom calls. Now you need to look at your mind map from yesterday. You should have a title in the middle of your mind map here, okay, and a list of ingredients all round the edge for a recipe for a dream. So take a couple of minutes to pause the video and add any new ideas you have to your plan. Is your plan clear? Okay. Is it really clear what your ingredients are going to be, and have you put quantities in? Pause the video and have a go to make sure. And welcome back. Now we're going to plan how to order our recipe. And we're going to do this in a little flow chart. Now I've, to help me, made a note of all the ingredients that I'm going to include, okay, here. And I'm going to start with this cloud here, and then once I've got my idea. So what's the first thing that I want to put into my recipe? Well, I'm going to take my golden coins and I'm going to put them into a rucksack, and then I'm going to put that into a big bowl. What am I going to do next? Well, I'm looking down my list and I've chosen to add a sprinkling of dragons into the mixture. And then after that, I'm going to add in several knights riding on white stallions. Then I'm going to take the pathway and I'm going to slice it into 3 equal sections. Then I'm going to stir the potion and mix a dollop of bravery in. I'm making sure you might want to tick off your ingredients as you go through to make sure you get them all in. Then I'm going to drop the X marks the spots into the mixture, chop the vicious beast blocking the path, and finally serve up an enormous slice of victory. So that is the order of my instructions. So you might want to draw yourself a little flow chart and have your list of ingredients nearby and work out how you're going to get them into your recipe. And all the time you need to be thinking about your imperative verbs, okay, and your quantities, like several. And you might want to think about any time conjunctions you might want to use and other things and annotate onto your plan. So here's an idea for a flow chart that you could draw. You should have at least 6 stages, I think. So at least 6 things that you're going to add into your recipe. And then, as I've said, go back and annotate it with your imperative verbs, time conjunctions, and a variety of sentence openers, including adverbs. You might also want to check where you can add in other targets that you can remember, such as adverbs of possibility, such as perhaps and surely, modal verbs, such as could, would, and should, and any relative clauses that you want to drop in. Remember, relative clauses start with a relative pronoun, such as who, which, or that. Once you've been through your plan, you'll need to check through it very carefully. You'll need to ask yourself, does it make sense? Is it clear what's happening and when? Is there anything missing? Could somebody else follow the recipe? You might want to give it to a member of your family and ask them, does it make sense? And If they give you some feedback, make any changes that are needed. Finally, for each stage, think about what will happen. So, for example, if I add dragons, does fire spark out from the bubbling cauldron? Okay, and then add that into your plan. Okay, off you go. Make sure you draw out your plan. You might want it to look something like the one on the screen here. You might lay it out slightly differently, but make sure you've got at least 6 stages and go through and add in your fantastic ideas. Can't wait to see them. Take care. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye.